Jacksonville Jaguars fans, welcome in to Duval Daily presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLugo. Thanks so much for tuning in here Wednesday, March 19th. Good afternoon to you all. The Jacksonville Jaguars have signed former Philadelphia Eagles offensive lineman Fred Johnson. And Fred Johnson, 27 years old. He will be 28 at the start of the 2025 season. Comes over on a one-year deal. His agent, Drew Rosenhaus, shared that with Adam Schefter. And I'm sure all of the other NFL bigwigs when it comes to reporting news, right? So Fred Johnson joins the Jacksonville Jaguars and their offensive line. Very fitting that this would happen the morning of the show where I talk about, is the Jacksonville Jaguars offensive line any better? And does Fred Johnson change my thoughts on that at all now that he has been signed? That's what we're going to talk about here in this show. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. You can also check out genjag.com/shop. Pick up some new Duval gear, like the hat I'm wearing right now. So, Fred Johnson, 6'7", 326 pounds. This is a mountain of a man. And he's a former Florida Gator. Go Gators, right? No, I know we've got a lot of non-Gator fans here. But yes, former Florida Gator, recently played with the Philadelphia Eagles the last two seasons, 2024 and 2023. Had to play a lot in 2024. A lot of right tackle and left tackle, both sides. So swing tackle for the Eagles the last 2 years. He was in Tampa for 1 year in 2022, where he did not see the field much, 2 snaps overall on the offensive side. And he started his career in Cincinnati 2019 to 2021. He was an undrafted free agent, again, out of the University of Florida. And as I mentioned, this is a big, big offensive tackle. You look at his spider chart, he did not participate in pre-draft workouts, it looks like, but 6'7" and an eighth. So, it's going to be interesting to see who's taller between him and Walker Little. These are two really tall tackles. 6'7" and an eighth, 326 pounds. So that's 94th percentile height, 84th percentile weight, 90th percentile wingspan, 84.5 inches, 34-inch arms, that's 66th percentile, and hand size 10 and 5/8. That is 88th percentile. So this is one big dude. And he's had to play a good amount of ball throughout his career as a swing player. With the Bengals, he played a pretty good amount of snaps his first year as a left tackle, filling in during some injury times. Second year, same thing. Didn't see a whole lot of run in between 21 and 23, but then last year with the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, he had to fill in for both Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson on both sides of the football, and he does have experience playing guard as well. In 2020, he played 124 snaps of right guard for the Cincinnati Bengals, and he also had some experience playing guard at Florida. So I think you look at versatility for Fred Johnson. I think you can say that this is a guy that has some versatility to play the left side, play the right side, play some guard in a pinch. Is he going to ever compete for a starting job here in Jacksonville? No. Again, it's a one-year deal. I think this is a guy who the Jaguars brought in to add competition for swing tackle and just swing players in general across the offensive line in case of emergency, right? So now you've got guys like Javon Foster, who we talked about this morning. You've got Chuma Edoga, who the Jaguars signed this year. You now got Fred Johnson in the mix as well. Guys that potentially compete for swing tackle, certainly. But if Fred Johnson is able to win that job, he also gives you a little versatility to be able to kick inside and play some guard for you in a pinch as well. And I think that's a positive. I think competition to make the roster is a positive. And Fred Johnson, he's not going to be guaranteed to make this roster by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think that Chuma Edoga or Javon Foster are locks to make the roster either. I think there's going to be a legit competition between Javon Foster, who was a 4th-round pick and had really good tape at Missouri. Chuma Edoga, who has experience playing meaningful games in this league. And Fred Johnson, who also has experience playing meaningful games in this league to make this roster. And I think that there's going to be some other guys that are holdovers as well from the previous regime. There's going to be rookies coming in to compete as well, undrafted free agents, I'm sure. I don't think the Jaguars are necessarily going to take anybody in the draft who is tackle exclusively. Honestly, I don't really see that happening. But I could see the Jaguars taking a player who can be a guard / tackle in the draft. And I think that they should certainly be targeting interior offensive linemen in the draft. I'm going to continue talking about this here, but first got to remind y'all about Underdog Fantasy. Grab your phone and your dancing shoes. It's time to make entries on March college basketball with Underdog. Making picks on Underdog is straightforward. Signing up is even easier. Just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with promo code DuvalDaily, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. To play, choose whether a player will go higher or lower on one of their stats, i.e. points, assists, rebounds, and more. You already know what I'm looking at. I've talked to you about it. I'm selecting my Gator, Walter Clayton Jr., to go higher on points. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code DuvalDaily to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. Must be 18 plus, 90 plus Alabama, Nebraska, 90 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Avoid in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. Arizona 1-800-NEXT-STEP. That's 1-800-639-8783. Or text NEXT STEP to 53342. New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-8778 Hope NY or text Hope NY 467-369. Shout out Underdog Fantasy. If you're supporting them, you're supporting us. So again, does this change anything really for the Jaguars? No, I think it adds more competition for the back of the roster. That's squarely where I'm looking at this as a move to add competition at tackle. But again, if he can win this job as the swing tackle, he has the proven versatility, both at the college and NFL level, not only to play both sides of tackle, but also to kick inside to guard, which I think that versatility could be huge for the Jaguars, because you look at Patrick McCary. He can play every single position on the offensive line for the Jaguars. You look at Walker Little. He has experience playing guard as well. So if you have a group of 8, 9 offensive linemen, and you've got several of them that can play guard or tackle. You've got McCary, who can play guard, tackle, or center. And then you go also add a draft pick, who I think should be able to at least play on the interior of the offensive line. I think they've got to draft an interior offensive lineman in the first 3 rounds just for the future of this thing. And don't forget, Ezra Cleveland also played left tackle in college. So there's a lot of potential versatility in terms of if somebody goes down, how do you get your best 5 out there on the field? I think the Jaguars will have the ability to potentially do that. But again, I'm very high on the idea of drafting an interior offensive lineman in the first 3 rounds. You've got 4 picks in the first 3 rounds. I think one of them's got to be an interior offensive lineman. And I also would not shy away from going back to the well later in the draft at offensive line. Protecting Trevor Lawrence is going to be paramount for this football team moving forward. I think that they have massively improved their ability to run block, both from a coaching standpoint and from a personnel standpoint, but I don't think they have improved their pass protection. Now, maybe they have via coaching, via play calling, via scheming, right? But personnel-wise, I don't think they've improved their pass protection on the interior of the offensive line. So I think that that's something they need to continue to try to upgrade. Even though you have this versatility now, you have Robert Hainsey, who has experience in the system. You have Patrick McCary, who can play anywhere. You have Ezra Cleveland, who is tough and a pretty good starter as well in there. It is not time to rest on your laurels, even though McCary is under contract at $13 million for at least 2 years. You sign him to a 3-year deal. You have a team out following the second year. So he's under contract through 2026. You're probably not going to be benching him at all. You've got Robert Hainsey under contract through at least 2026 as well. Both of those guys' contracts go through 2027, but you can get out on the team out following the 2026 season. Ezra Cleveland, though, you could get out of that contract following 2025 if you want to. Again, I'm not saying that they should try to get out of all those contracts as early as they possibly can, but they should be looking to upgrade those spots because Patrick McCary, while he has all the versatility in the world, I think he's just like pretty good overall. Good run blocker, better run blocker than pass protector, in my opinion. Pretty good player. Robert Hainsey, I think he's a replacement level starter. Ezra Cleveland, I think pretty good player. Would you like to have better than two pretty good guys in a replacement level starter on the interior of your offensive line when you have a franchise quarterback? I think so. I absolutely think so. So continue to try to upgrade not only offensive line, but the entire roster, in my opinion. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. Y'all have a good one.